What if one of the greatest outfielders of all time didn't play deep in center field like everyone else? What if he played so shallow that he could snag a ground ball before the shortstop ever touched it? And what if one of the smartest, toughest men in baseball history also found himself tangled in a gambling scandal that nearly shattered everything he built? This is the real story of Tris Speaker. Welcome to Baseball Spark. Today we break down why Tris Speaker lands at number 8 on our all-time list of center fielders. Tristram E. Speaker was born in 1888 in Hubbard, Texas. The son of a former Confederate soldier turned county sheriff, Tris was forged in the heat of the Texas sun, where toughness wasn't optional. It was cultural currency. At 14, Speaker was thrown from a horse and broke his right arm. It healed crooked and stiff, with doctors recommending amputation. He told them to forget it. That deformed arm would become part of his identity. Even more remarkable, it never held him back. Then, at 18, Speaker suffered a far more devastating injury. Diving into second base, he fractured vertebrae in his neck. A broken neck. In 1906, no MRIs, no surgeries. Just a brace, a limp, and an unshakable resolve. He refused to quit. He played through the pain and taught himself to rely more on positioning and instincts than brute speed. That adjustment didn't just save his career. It created one of the smartest defenders the game has ever seen. He wasn't just a product of his environment. He was proof that physical limitations, when met with mental mastery, can become your superpower. He returned to the game tougher and smarter. He didn't take unnecessary risks, but he learned to cut down angles, to anticipate contact points, and to read the trajectory of a ball just from the sound it made off the bat. Tris Speaker made his major league debut in 1907 with the Boston Red Sox. At first, he was just another young hopeful. By 1910, he was anything but. That season, Speaker hit .340 with 35 stolen bases, 52 doubles, and an on-base percentage north of .400. But it wasn't just his bat that made him a star. He played center field like no one before him. While most outfielders positioned themselves deep, Speaker came in close. Very close. He played so shallow that people assumed he was mispositioned. But he wasn't. He read hitters like novels, watched the wrists, tracked the wind. He knew where the ball was going before it left the bat. And he had a cannon for an arm. From shallow center, he gunned down runners at third base, at home, even at first. His throwing accuracy was surgical. He became the anchor of a Red Sox team that would win the World Series in 1912 and again in 1915. In 1912, Speaker batted .383 with 90 RBIs. His OPS? 1.031 in the dead ball era. That same year, he set a record with 53 doubles and played in all 153 games. His leadership was felt as much in the dugout as it was in the box score. He wasn't just a star, he was a game changer. And in Boston, they knew it. The outfield trio of Speaker, Duffy Lewis, and Harry Hooper would go down as one of the finest defensive combinations in history. In 1916, Speaker wanted what every top player eventually wants: a raise. Boston refused. Rather than negotiate, they sold him to the Cleveland Indians for $55,000 and a pair of players. Fans were shocked. Journalists questioned the sanity of the front office. But Speaker didn't cry over it. He got to work. His first season in Cleveland, he hit .386, leading the American League in batting average, breaking Ty Cobb's 9-year streak, and led the league in hits, OBP, and total bases. He made Cleveland fans forget about the sale almost instantly. In Boston, they'd just lost their anchor. In Cleveland, a new era had begun. Speaker became the heartbeat of the franchise, and the sharpest mind in the clubhouse. In 1919, Speaker was named player manager of the Cleveland Indians. He was 31, still in his prime, and now managing men older and younger than him. He ran a tight ship. He was exacting, detailed, demanding, but he was also brilliant. He invented in-game shifts. He would yell from center field to reposition fielders between pitches. He studied every batter. He read swing paths and facial tension. He introduced pre-game data review, had players charting opposing tendencies, and practiced shallow fly ball drills relentlessly. It was preparation no one else in the league was doing. And in 1920, it all came together. Speaker hit .388 with 214 hits and 50 doubles. But more importantly, he led Cleveland to its first ever World Series title. The team endured tragedy that season. In August, shortstop Ray Chapman was killed by a pitch to the head. Still the only on-field death in MLB history. Speaker gave speeches. He rallied his men. And he kept them focused long enough to bring home the title. A championship born from pain. Led by a man who had known plenty of it. And it wasn't just a feel-good story. The Indians beat a loaded Brooklyn Robins team in 7 games. Speaker had a .320 average and made key defensive plays in the series. By the time he retired, Tris Speaker had accumulated 3,514 hits, 5th all-time, 792 doubles, 1st all-time, still, a .345 career batting average, 1,529 RBIs, 1,381 walks, and just 393 strikeouts. He posted triple-doubles in 14 different seasons. He batted over .380 3 separate times, and he compiled a .158 career OPS+. He walked more than he struck out, he hit to all fields, and he perfected the inside-out swing decades before anyone called it that. But let's not forget defense. He recorded 449 outfield assists, more than anyone in history. He threw out base runners from everywhere. He turned center field into a trap. If you ran on Speaker, you were going to regret it. Even advanced analytics from modern times agree. Speaker saved more runs with his glove than any outfielder from his generation. Baseball Reference credits him with over 130 career defensive runs saved. An astonishing number given the era. And yet, Speaker only won an MVP one time. He was awarded the American League MVP in 1912 while playing for the Boston Red Sox. At the time, this award was known as the Chalmers Award. The award didn't exist for most of his prime, but his value was beyond dispute. He led his league in WAR multiple times, was top 10 nearly every season from 1910 to 1920, and did it all while managing a roster and playing nearly every game. In 1926, baseball was rocked again. Dutch Leonard, a former pitcher, accused Speaker and Ty Cobb of fixing a game in 1919 between Cleveland and Detroit. He claimed the two legends had prearranged the outcome and even bet on it. Leonard presented letters. One was typed by Cobb, the other by retired pitcher Smokey Joe Wood. The letters were vague, but suspicious. Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis launched an investigation. Cobb and Speaker denied it all. They said Leonard was bitter over past grievances, but Leonard refused to testify in person. Landis, citing lack of direct evidence, dropped the case. However, the fallout was real. Both men resigned from their managerial roles. They were quietly pushed aside. Cobb would eventually admit the game was tipped to benefit a retiring player. Speaker remained silent. It was never proven, but the damage to his public image never quite healed. For some, it introduced doubt where there was once only dominance. He would never manage again. He was reserved, even cold. Teammates respected him, but didn't always like him. He was also a product of his time, and not always in a good way. Reports linked him to segregationist views and even possible Klan affiliation during the 1920s. While never publicly confirmed, the rumors added to the air of mystery and discomfort around his personal life. After retiring, he worked as a scout, advised hitters, and even dabbled in broadcasting. But mostly, he stayed out of the spotlight. He passed away in 1958 at the age of 70 from a heart attack. Tris Speaker was a pioneer. He played like a scientist, managed like a general, and he hit like a machine. He also lived with flaws, with controversy, and with pain. But you can't talk about center fielders or baseball history without including the Gray Eagle. And that's why Tris Speaker lands at number 8 on Baseball Spark's all-time center fielders list. Next up, number 7. Here's your hint. He won an MVP during World War II. And despite playing in some of baseball's biggest stadiums, he still led the league in slugging multiple times. Think you know who it is? Drop your guess in the comments. Like, subscribe, and if you guess correctly, you'll be entered to win a PSA 10 Luis Robert Jr. rookie card. We'll catch you in the next inning.